How's it going, guys? David Hedge here, House Hedge Gaming, and today I'm talking about the next big set for Magic the Gathering, the one that is supposed to change the game forever, and that is March of the Machines. Now, I know what you're thinking. We just got done with Phyrexia, all will be one, and the Phyrexian invasion has begun in the multiverse as the Realm Breaker tree in Phyrexia has finally grounded, took root, and is now spreading the connection between all the multiverse to Phyrexia. And I know we're starting to get used to that, have the planeswalkers that we all know and love have been Phyrexianized, and seeing that last glimmer of hope just vanish when Elspeth took the filigree Silex and went somewhere. We don't know where she went to. But now we know is that the Phyrexians are in full assault mode, and the multiverse is in grave danger, and March of the Machines is definitely going to have that displayed for everybody to see. So let's take a look at my thoughts of what would be happening in March of the Machines, what I think can happen between both gameplay and storyline. So let's get started. All right, boys and girls, let's go ahead and talk about the big elephant in the room, and that is battle. Now, this is a brand new card type that was previewed on Atraxa and Phyrexia, all will be one. And the big question is, what's battle? Some people online are already speculating that it's going to be similar to Plane Chase, where you'll have a special die you can roll, and you'll come equipped with a Plane Chase deck or a battle deck that lets you go from plane to plane. Now, in my opinion, that could be a little bit too chaotic, especially if this is a card type that will be legal in Standard, Modern, Legacy, Pioneer. You want to make sure that you're building your deck, but you don't have planes messing up your plans, if you will. Now, in Commander, it's perfectly ideal because Commander is a political, chaotic format, and Plane Chase is a marvelous thing for it, and I guarantee you Battle will add to that fun. But for constructed tournament play, I think Battle cards are going to end up being basically a battlefield that you're from. Basically your home realm, what you're defending, what part of the multiverse you are currently defending the borders at. And I think that'd be pretty cool to have. So say, for example, you have a plane. So let's say Innistrad. And Innistrad would be able to grant your creatures +1/+1 counters if you pay life. And that's something you can start messing with. It's like, okay, I have this plane here that involves life loss and +1/+1 counters. I can start manipulating my deck of what I want to do with those abilities. And I think that'd be pretty cool to do because Magic would benefit from a new card type. And the way I picture battle cards, that it'll be something that'll be on the board immediately at the beginning of the game. It'll be something that you reveal, and that's where you're from. That's the battlefield that you've chosen. And there's not a way for players to mess with that. So they can't really mess with what your strategy is for your deck. Now, hopefully that's the case. If they try putting the Plane Chase mechanic in to Standard and all, that could be a little bit weird to do. But you know what? It's Wizards. Hopefully they know what they're doing. They've had a few bumps, but I think a lot of that's been from Hasbro. And I think the battle cards have a pretty good chance of being something special, and hopefully I'm right about this. That is just a field card that you can choose to help build your deck around. And if it's not, then hopefully it's something that's equally as good, if not better, and Wizards, don't let us down, man. Like, you did really good introducing the Planeswalkers when they first came out, Lorwyn, and unfortunately those have been really plentiful, and I think Planeswalkers should be a lot rarer than what you're doing right now. Like, we just got 10 Planeswalkers in this set for Phyrexia all be one. We got a bunch of Planeswalkers in War of the Spark, and it's starting to lose that special feeling. So hopefully with the battle cards, Wizards will hit a home run with it. But my thinking, they're basically going to be field cards for your deck, and you're part of the battlefield in the game of Magic. All right, next up, let's talk about Planeswalkers. I don't think there's going to be too many around anymore, guys. The reason why for that, to me, is that if Phyrexia still maintains the Realm Breaker tree, and all of these areas are connected now through the Realm Breaker, that means you can have Innistrad characters showing up on Kaldheim. You can have Kaladesh characters showing up on Ravnica. And I think that'd be really cool. But it would also mean that Planeswalkers would not be as relevant anymore. There still would be a focal part of the storyline because planeswalkers are still these almighty characters that are in the game, but you'll actually have easier access for different characters to show up everywhere. So during this timeline, in March of the Machines, we've already seen the artworks to where you have Baral from Kaladesh, Thalia from Dark Ascension, or from Innistrad. Well, she wasn't Dark Ascension, so I got it right. You have dragons from Tarkir. You have students and teachers from Strixhaven. They're all fighting together on one plane. So what that means is that the Realm Breaker works both ways. You can have characters go from one plane to another, while the Phyrexians are doing the same thing, going from Phyrexia to these other planes. So it's basically connecting the multiverse and making it more and more of a universal type thing, to where everybody knows what's going on in other multiverses. So I wouldn't be surprised starting in March of the Machines and going forward, you're going to see a lot more of a crossover with these planes. So, like, for example, in the next set after this, the Wilds of Eldraine, who knows, you might see Thalia wandering through the forests of Eldraine and run into Garruk. You never know. Or you might see Strixhaven being able to expand their curricular activities, going to different planes and studying them. So I do believe in the game and in storyline, you will see a lot more characters being able to go cross planes. But I don't think you'll be seeing too many planeswalkers coming in these sets. Like, you'll probably go back to maybe 2 or 3 planeswalkers in a set instead of having like a plethora of them that you can choose from, because I think they're not going to be as special anymore. Like, we've had planeswalkers since Lorwyn. And planeswalkers, even though I still love playing them, I'm actually working on a Simic Super Friends deck thanks to Icar Moon Gauntlet. But I just think it's time for planeswalkers to take a little bit of a back seat. Still have them as like somewhat of a focal point because they're a visitor from another plane. But now you're going to have a lot more of them running around if the Realm Breaker tree still survives the March of the Machines. If it doesn't, then my whole theory is blown up, just like the tree would be. But we'll see what happens. So, but that's my thinking. Starting with March of Machines and going forward, you're going to see a lot more cross-pollination of all these sets if the Realm Breaker stays connected. All right, third prediction for gameplay. So I talked about the cross-pollination of multiversal planes. I've talked about the battle cards, but now I'm going to talk about Elspeth. Because Elspeth is the biggest thing that we don't know yet. Because Elspeth took the Filigree Silex, and we have no clue where she went with it. She could have went to the Blind Eternities. She could have went to a different plane. But all we know is that the Silex was activated by Jace before he turned Phyrexian, and now Elspeth took it somewhere. So, in March of the Machines, I do believe that Elspeth will be that gigantic planeswalker that we have never seen before. We know Urza had 5 abilities when it melded with the Might Stone and the Weak Stone. It was, at that point, the most powerful planeswalker because it's Urza. Of course it's going to be. But I think that Elspeth will be in the set, and Elspeth will have 6 abilities. But she will be double-sided. So it's going to be similar to Garruk, but you'll be able to choose which side to play her on. And there'll be 2 different mana costs, and you will be able to choose which powerful entity of Elspeth you would like to have. Because remember, she's supposed to be the big thing that ends this whole ordeal with Elesh Norn, thanks to Ashiok's dreams and manipulation of Elesh Norn's mind, making them think that Elspeth is the major enemy of Phyrexia. So I am betting right now that Elspeth will have 6 abilities, but it'll be 3 each on a double-sided card. And it might show the effects of what the Silex did, or whatever plane she went to. Or, if she is in the Blind Eternities, just wandering around, if that thing blows up, she might take in a decent part of the Blind Eternities into herself. So, my prediction is that Elspeth is going to have a double-sided Planeswalker card in March of the Machines. I know it's a Farfetch, but you know what? I like Farfetch as a Pokemon. I like the Leak Slap. But this is going to be definitely something pretty cool if they can swing it, as Elspeth becomes the next big planeswalker in Magic the Gathering. Alright, so that's the gameplay part. So, gameplay, review, because you just watched it. Battle cards will be like battlefields. Cross-polymerization with all the other planes, where different characters will be able to go to these different planes. And Elspeth having a double-sided card. Now, those are my 3 gameplay predictions. Now I'll give you 3 storyline predictions, even though the second one for the gameplay can be a bit of a storyline too, but that one's roped in, not many planeswalkers, so there we go. I can bend the rules as my channel. Alright, so first thing for the storyline. A majority of the planeswalkers that we have seen Phyrexianized are staying that way, or will be killed off in March of the Machines. I know it's going to hurt, because we had Jace, Tybalt, which is the only time Tybalt actually mattered. I never liked his Planeswalker card. Ichor Gauntlet may be the only thing that can help that boy. But Jace, Tybalt, Ajani, Tamiyo, Luca, Nissa, Vraska, all of them have been turned. And I'm missing one more. Let me know in the comments below which one I'm missing, and it should prove that I need to do study on these videos before I film them. But all these planeswalkers have been... Nahiri, that's the one. Got it. All these planeswalkers have been Phyrexianized. And as the history shows in Magic, that Phyrexian infection can be reversed, but if most of the human body, or most of the natural body, is intact. So, characters like Luca and Nissa, Nahiri, will not be able to transform back. They will not be healed. They're too far gone. But Jace, it's possible. Last we saw, the only thing he has is metal tentacles coming out of him. But a majority of his actual body is still intact. So he could be healed. Same thing for Ajani to a degree. Right now he's showing the outer layers of like the Elesh Norn Atraxa look. And yeah, he does have muscular showing, but he is still pretty much himself. But that can change in March Machines. I don't know how they're going to look there. But I do believe a majority of the planeswalkers that we have seen turned, unfortunately, will be staying that way. You might have 1 or 2 be able to be resuscitated, but as far as their lineages go, a lot of these planeswalkers, this may be the last time you see them. Because one way or the other, I think Phyrexia may be done in Magic the Gathering as the big bad. So, but that's my thinking, that the planeswalkers that you've seen turned, or that will be turned, will not be able to get healed. Now, keeping on that track, we do have one little story beat of Tezzeret having an infected reality chip, because he was getting ready to be turned by Jen Jataxis after Jataxis found out what was going on with Tezzeret and Urabraskin's children, and being able to let Elesh Norn know of these plans to ruin her machinations of conquest. So, Tezzeret has these abilities. Tezzeret has this technology, and he pretty much has his new body. Now, I believe Tezzeret may be the saving grace for a lot of this storyline as well. I made a prediction, Elspeth's going to be a double-sided card, but I think Tezzeret is going to be a major force in this set, because he has the technology to figure out, okay, how are we going to fix the planeswalkers? How are we going to stop Phyresis from happening to these beings? Because he almost came close to it, and luckily he didn't. And I never thought I'd say that about Tezzeret, because he's been a devious son of a gun under Nicol Bolas's thumb, but you know what? It happened. And I do forgive him for it, because I think he saw the error of his ways, and he knows, hey, this is a bunch of BS that the Phyrexians are doing, and I will take a heretical praetor and see if I can help him just take over the plane and just let them do their own thing, instead of trying to have the thought of the entire multiverse being completed. So I believe that Tezzeret's going to be a major player in the storyline, but all the planeswalkers that you have seen Phyrexianized, don't count on them getting healed right off the bat, because It's not going to happen this time, guys. These planeswalkers are pretty much at the end of the line. All right, number 2 prediction. If number 1 doesn't work, I'm going to go with number 2. Number 2, a lot of the Phyrexian characters know 2 things. 1, Nicol Bolas is trapped in his Gem of Becoming, and he is in a meditation realm. He's no longer himself because his mind got completely trashed thanks to a bunch of planeswalkers after War of the Spark. And he's being watched over by Ugin. The second, the planeswalkers under Phyrexian control know of Emrakul in the moon. Now, Phyrexia can, in fact, undo their own plans of conquering the multiverse if they think they can unleash Nicol Bolas or unleash Emrakul in the hopes that they can Phyrexianize him. Because I do believe that Emrakul and the Eldrazi have a chance to overcome Phyrexia. Because you're basically having 2 parasitic forces against each other. And Emrakul, being the most powerful of the 3 Eldrazi Titans, has a chance. Nicol Bolas has a chance if he can regain his memory. And I think push comes to shove, Ugin would let him regain his memory because, well, Nicol Bolas had his own machinations of becoming the most powerful planeswalker that there could ever be. I do believe that he would rather rule a multiverse that would actually be 100% his instead of one that is all metal and hive mind. So I can see Emrakul or Nicol Bolas being introduced to March of the Machines, and if that's the case, I can see that being a major mistake by the Phyrexians if they do tend to go that route and want to Phyrexianize a godlike dragon or an spaghetti monster from the Blind Eternities. Either way, it could be a big mistake for Phyrexia. I don't think it's going to happen, but Wizards has done some weird things, and this would be one of the weirder things because it's all connected. Jace knows about Nicol Bolas. Tamiyo and Jace know about Emrakul. Why wouldn't Phyrexia use that knowledge? Might find out soon. All right, last thing I'm going to predict for March of the Machines. Teferi. Teferi is a time mage. He's a time planeswalker. And if this happens, this would be the one thing that every Magic player would get so upset about. But what if Teferi resets time? Since all of these planes will be linked together through the Realmbreaker tree, what if Teferi has the ability to gather so much power and he is able to reset time? Now, what do I mean by that? He resets time on Phyrexia, and he resets time to where the Realmbreaker tree does not exist. That Vorinclex, Elish Norn, Sheoldred, all these Praetors never go to these other planes. What if he does it and just etch-a-sketches everything? That would probably be one of those turning points in Magic's history to where a lot of players would get upset. Because it's one thing to where you had the disappointment of War of the Spark. War of the Spark was supposed to be this big, gigantic battle, and you would see mass casualties everywhere, and you did. You had the gods from our devastation in Amonkhet come back as part of the eternal army of Nicol Bolas. And we didn't really see a major shift in the storylines, like outside of Dovin Bond being blinded and being chased down, Liliana having to run away to Strixhaven to take on a new persona because of her actions in War of the Spark. But you didn't see a major development in the multiverse like you're seeing right now with Phyrexia All Is One. But what if Teferi did turn back time on all the planes? Now, if he did this, this may be the thing that ends him. that just destroys them, because there'll be so much power being expended throughout the multiverse to try and erase whatever's happening with Phyrexia. And that's what stops the invasion, is that he's able to gather this power, run back time, disconnect the tree, make it back to a little sapling that never came from Kaldheim, and then you have all these planeswalkers and all these leftover bits from everywhere into Phyrexia, with the Phyrexians for one final battle on New Phyrexia. Now, this is the least possible thing that could happen, but you know what? It's really interesting to think. Would Wizards really do a reverse in time and etch-a-sketch everything that's happened over the past several years? What do you guys think? All right, so there's my predictions for March of the Machines. 3 for gameplay, 3 for storyline. And I know, some of you, it might sound like the ramblings of a madman, but you know what? I have been a little bit crazy at times, especially with me doing what I'm doing for my living. So, and plus, I go to wrestling camp. I get beat up by a bunch of people. I've got hit by chairs, golf clubs. I've had powder thrown in my face, been hit by keyboards. At least I didn't have my head go through a copier like a tag team partner of mine did at one point, but that's a different story. But these are my thoughts for the new set. And hopefully one of them's right, but we'll see. So I got 3 cool endings, 3 cool things that can happen in the storyline. A double-sided Elspeth, battle cards being battlefields, all that good stuff. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. If you like it, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and let everybody know that House Hedge Gaming is here for all of your gaming needs and possibly bad predictions in Magic the Gathering history. But you know what? It was fun doing this video, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it too. So until next time, guys, stay safe and take care.